Right now, TRAPPIST-1g is still orbiting a star so dim, so cold, that you could stand on its surface and never see a sunrise the way we know it. And the astronomers at NASA and MIT have no way to explain how a planet like this even holds together. It's locked in a silent, endless loop around an object that barely qualifies as a star at all. And what's happening to its atmosphere right now is something two rival teams of scientists can't agree on. One says it's frozen solid, the other says it's boiling away. But here's what nobody is telling you. 40 light-years from here in the constellation Aquarius, there's a star so faint it wasn't even noticed until 2016. It's called TRAPPIST-1, not a yellow sun like ours, a red dwarf, so small and so cool it glows barely brighter than a dying ember. Some scientists don't even call it a true star. It sits right on the edge, the last flicker before a star fails to ignite at all. Around it, packed in tighter than anything in our solar system, orbit 7 Earth-sized worlds. And the seventh, TRAPPIST-1g, sits right at the edge of the habitable zone. Close enough that liquid water might survive. Far enough that no one can prove it does. It completes a full year in just 12 days. 12 days. And it's tidally locked, one face burning in permanent day, the other frozen in permanent night forever. Here's where it stops making sense. TRAPPIST-1g should be dead. A planet parked that close to any star gets fried by radiation, stripped bare, atmosphere torn away into space. That's the rule. That's what happens to every rocky world crowded around a red dwarf. But when the James Webb Space Telescope turned its instruments toward the TRAPPIST-1 system, it found something the models didn't predict. Some of these worlds still show signs of atmosphere, signs of chemistry, signs of something holding on against odds that should have erased it a billion years ago. And TRAPPIST-1g, the one furthest out, the one closest to what we'd call comfortable, is the one scientists are watching the closest. Because if anything in this system beat the odds, it's this planet. And nobody can tell you why. Now here's why the obvious explanation falls apart. Red dwarfs like TRAPPIST-1 don't just glow weakly, they rage. They erupt in flares hundreds of times more violent relative to their size than anything our sun produces. Radiation blasts, X-ray storms, stellar tantrums that should sandblast a nearby planet's atmosphere into nothing within a few 100 million years. TRAPPIST-1g has had over 7 billion years to get destroyed. And Harvard researchers modeling the system are stuck. Their simulations say the atmosphere shouldn't exist. The Webb data says maybe it does. 2 teams, 2 papers, 2 contradicting conclusions, and no one willing to say which one is wrong. Here's the part they're still arguing about behind closed doors. All 7 TRAPPIST-1 planets are locked in something called an orbital resonance, a gravitational chain reaction, each planet's orbit tugging on the next, like a cosmic wind-up clock ticking in perfect, unnatural sync. It's one of the most precise resonance chains ever found. And that precision means something unsettling. Every time these planets pass each other, they flex and squeeze one another with gravity. That squeezing generates heat. Deep, internal, relentless heat, the same kind that keeps Jupiter's moon Io erupting with volcanoes despite being frozen in deep space. Which means TRAPPIST-1g might not be a cold, dead rock at all. It might be cooking itself alive from the inside, independent of its faint, dying star. A planet with almost no sunlight and possibly a molten heart. Some researchers now think that hidden heat could be the only reason liquid water survives there at all. Not sunlight, not the star. Something happening underground in the dark that we can't see and can't measure from 40 light-years away. And if that's true, everything we assumed about what makes a planet livable, starlight distance, temperature, might be wrong for this entire class of worlds. Think about what that means. If TRAPPIST-1g is being kept alive by gravity alone, by squeezing instead of sunlight, then the entire habitable zone, the Goldilocks rule scientists have used for decades, might be incomplete. There could be worlds all over this galaxy that look dead on paper, frozen and starved of light, that are secretly warm underneath. Worlds we've been ignoring in the search for life because we were only looking for suns like ours. So what is actually underneath TRAPPIST-1g's frozen, tidally locked surface? Is it a dead rock clinging to a dying ember of a star? Or is something down there right now, still generating the one thing every living world needs? Nobody at NASA will give you a straight answer. Tell me what you think is really happening under that ice.